Richard says that when you have mastered fear, you have mastered all. Wouldn't you want that for yourself? From that, we learn already that it is possible to master fear of any kind. Phobia is an unreasonable fear or anxiety towards an object, a person, or even a space. We have different types of phobias. We have social phobias. We have specific phobias. Many people have phobias and they know it. What they do not know is that phobias can be treated. What are you afraid of? Is it the dark? Are you afraid of snakes? Are you afraid of dogs? Are you afraid of driving? Are you afraid of flying? Are you afraid of man? That would be called Hydrophobia. Are you afraid of spiders? That is Arachnophobia. What I want to tell you today is that whatever phobia you have, you can be treated for it. Welcome to Wellness and Living. Our topic today is phobia. My name is Thelma Obaza. You know how we like to do it. We go out. We talk with you. What are your fears? Are you willing to share? Would you like to get better? We spoke with you. You told us some things. Let's listen together.
Yes, I remember I have phobia, yes.
Phobia? I don't think I do. As a man, I don't fear anything. Whatever comes to me, I'll face it. I could say I have a phobia for racial discrimination.
Yes, I do have phobia for heights. Heights, I used to say, when I'm on top of maybe a mountain or maybe a very high upstairs.
I know. Based on my belief, I'm asked not to fear.
I do. One time ago when I had an accident, each time I enter a car, and sometime when I get see some of accident occur, it grieves my fear most.
No, I don't believe it. I don't have it.
Yes, I have an air phobia. I remember my first flight. I'm from Lagos to Port Harcourt, and it was during rainy season. When they announced that there is going to be like 45-minute delay, I was scared.
During my schooling days and during my childbearings in the labor room, whenever I'm stepping to labor room, I used to have those sorts of phobias in my mind that this journey is so easy to go and come back.
When I was young, I was playing and I fell from a stair, from upstairs. So when I fell from there, the phobia came. At any time I see myself on a high place, I do have that fear of, okay, let me not fall down.
Treat other people like you'd want to be treated, and knowing the fact that we are all created by God and we're all humans and share the same feelings. So I mean, there's no point treating other people other than you want to be treated, that's it.
Because God let me know that I should not be afraid of anything. I should not fear. The resistance of such thing I didn't doubt it. The resistance of something that will cause somebody to fear. But with God in me, I have the confidence that those things that come, as I trust in God, I will overcome them.
I don't have phobia. And in regard to that, I'm not working towards it. So I don't have anything to work towards when I'm not interested on, or when I don't care much about what's going on or what will happen tomorrow or today. So whatever comes to me, I take it why I see it.
Whenever I remember God, I throw it away like woven water away.
Climb somewhere and try looking down. I doing it frequently so that I will reach it, so that it won't always happen to me anymore.
Once you have faith in God, I think it will drive away fear.
It's all right to be afraid some of the time. At different points in our lives, we have all been afraid of something. But when you fear something or many things all the time, then you have a phobia, and then you just may need help. According to Stephen Richards, when you have a fear of something, the world is a big place. But when you have courage, the world shrinks. And that's what we're doing today. We're shrinking the knowledge. We're bringing knowledge from different places, different parts of the world, bringing it together so you can understand better, and then together we can learn. When you have a phobia, it means that you experience an exaggerated or unrealistic sense of danger in certain situations. As a result, you might then start to organize your life around the thing or things that are making you anxious. Human behavior is not always logical. One of the strange things our minds can do is to become afraid of things that we logically know are not dangerous. Getting a shot is safe, nothing to faint about. Or, airplanes are safe, right? That is the logical mind speaking. The less logical mind springs up uncomfortable reactions, and this become phobias. Most people define phobias with the phrase fear of spiders, for example, or fear of sharp objects or needles. Most phobias have technical terms that start with a Greek or Latin phrase and end in a suffix, like phobias, for example. Ophidiophobia, fear of snakes. Trypanophobia, fear of injections. Aviophobia, fear of flying. Just to mention a few, history shows that phobias are rich, varied, and complex. People have had phobias for thousands of years, but it's only been recently that we have known much about these fears, or even enough to call them phobias. The first written reference to phobic problems that we have is in the works of ancient Greek physician Hippocrates from 470 to 410 BCE. In one of his works, called the Seventh Book of Epidemics, he described a condition in a man named Nicanor and talked about his fear of the flute, or perhaps its music. This music and this flute were handled by a piper, and Nicanor was afraid of the music, the piper, and the flute. Eventually, 500 years later, a Roman doctor, Celsus, used the word hydrophobia, water fear, to describe someone who seemed to have a horror of water due to rabies. History relates this first mention of the word phobia to a Greek god, Phobos, the son of Ares, the Greek god of war. Phobos and his hard-won wars are yet another story. Do you know that fear can make a moth seem like an elephant? Can make a millipede look like a snake? Can make a lizard look like an alligator? It can turn a small problem into a mountain. It can make a lake seem like an ocean. That is why you need to attend to it, because when you fear something consistently, every day, every time, it limits your progress. It limits your ability to take positive steps, and then you must get more information about treatment. That's why we're talking with Dr. Ebuta Agbo. He goes into detail about the different types of phobias that there are out there. There are so many you wouldn't believe, and it tells us that message of hope that you need to hear. Treatment is available, it is possible, and you can get it.
Phobia refers to an irrational, unreasonable, unjustifiable fear of either an object or a situation. So that limits the person's ability to function either in work or play as a result of avoidant behaviors or abnormal reactions when exposed to those triggers. It's quite a common condition worldwide, and if you look at epidemiologically, the prevalence in Nigeria, there are different studies that talk about between 10 to 20 to 30%. But if we were to be conservative and to insist on 10% and a population of roughly 200 million people, we could safely say that there are 20 million Nigerians with one form of phobia or another. Phobia can be classified into three major groups: agoraphobia, which is a fear of public places; social phobia, which is a fear of social situations; and then specific phobia, which get their definition based on what the fear is directed towards, either an object or a situation. The cause of phobia, it's a bit controversial. It's not been clearly delineated. However, you have people with different opinion of how it has emerged. Some people have noticed that phobias may be more common among certain family groups. So they have postulated that there's maybe a genetic or a hereditary risk associated with the emergence of phobia. Some other psychologists have postulated that certain exposure to certain stimulus, like into life-threatening situations, fearful situations, can create a scenario where the patient or the person involved develops a permanent and a morbid and an unreasonable fear for similar situations. Some other people have looked at it psychoanalytically, and they've said that there's a certain part of your psychological functioning which we may for this discussion characterize as your ego. So when there is some level of conflict between your ego and your desire to express some activities or behavior that should otherwise have been inhibited, your ego goes into an excessive drive, and that excessive drive, which is kind of protective, would manifest as phobia. So as you can see, in terms of etiology, it's mainly hypothetical, but there are different postulations on why it has emerged. Looking at it further, women appear to be more at risk. So some people have talked about their psychological constitution, some have linked it up to hormones, but again, it's a bit controversial. But what we know for sure is that if you look at the general population, women are more at risk of developing phobia, and then some people who have been exposed to certain stressful life situations are also more at risk, and some people who are from certain families where maybe a mother or a father has a certain phobia, one or two people down the line may also have that phobia. In terms of manifestation, again, the manifestation of the phobia will depend on the type of phobia. So patients who have agoraphobia will have a complete dislike, an unreasonable and irrational fear of going to a public place, like going to the market, going to the shop, going to the mall, going to watch a movie. Social phobia has to do with fear of being exposed to maybe social stimulus, social requirements. So the person is afraid of being embarrassed. So he's worried that, okay, if I go out to interact socially, I may be embarrassed. So they are generally over shy, so to speak. And that, again, limits their capacity to interact. And lastly, but not the least, the group of phobias that encompasses everything possible is a specific phobia, where the person has a morbid, irrational, unreasonable, and unexplainable fear for a specific object or situation. So if you take, for example, zoophobia or kynophobia, fear of dogs, you would have a situation where someone sees a puppy and is scared of a puppy because the puppy is a dog. But that is distinct from just being afraid of a dog. Then other types of phobia obviously will be claustrophobia. Claustrophobia is a morbid fear for enclosed spaces. A person who is claustrophobic will find him or herself in a room that probably is well protected, but will still be afraid of being in that enclosure. Another fear obviously is the fear of heights, which is acrophobia. We all have a certain level of fear of heights, but the acrophobic person, upon getting to the height, will be so scared and it would prevent and incapacitate him. He may not even be able to come down from the height. Another phobia is aerophobia, the fear of flying, either by planes or by helicopters, as the case may be. That again can be incapacitating. Imagine you are the top executive of a company and you are having a retreat with some of your friends or colleagues, and everybody gets on the plane, but because of aerophobia, you're unable to. That typifies the situation of aerophobia. And Ophidiophobia, which is a morbid or reasonable fear of snake. This encapsulates a critical percentage of phobias. But again, you name the condition, there can be a phobia. The list of phobias are completely inexhaustible. In terms of treatment, there are several interventions you can use, but critical is psychotherapy. And psychotherapy includes different forms of psychotherapy. You could have cognitive behavioral therapy, you could have cognitive therapy, you could have virtual exposure therapy, and a couple of other therapies. The idea is that you are either exposed to those conditions that trigger phobia, and you are able to you are desensitized from developing some of those symptoms. Apart from psychotherapy, which is very key, the use of medication has a role in managing patients who have phobia, because you may have situations where a patient on account of phobia may become very anxious and go into a panic. You would have to calm the patient down. So there are medications to achieve that. There are medications to also address other mental health problems like depression, and anxiety, which may all present in patients who have phobia, because a critical percentage of patients who have phobia also have other mental health challenges like depression, like panic attacks, like anxiety, also like substance abuse. In fact, in patients who have agoraphobia, it's been known that the level of the rates of substance abuse is usually higher, because they are mostly indoors, they stay at home, and they kind of introspect and feel that, life is not going on so well. Studies have shown that it is here, it is present. We have millions of Nigerians who have phobia. Phobia is not a death sentence. If you get the right help, you may be able to rise from the chains of phobia and live life to the fullest.
In this splendid place called life, where we are all making a mark in our different endeavoral pursuits, it's beautiful when you have experiences that make you smile. It's even more beautiful when we can make these experiences by ourselves, how we want them, when we want them, and prolong it for as long as we want. I had a beautiful experience with golf some time back, and I'm prolonging it so you can partake of it. Eluka and Nene squealed with joy, and we captured it. What would you think if you went to the golf course and you saw a rag and a sandbag? Would it make meaning? Well, you shouldn't miss this.
After the practical training, you now have your towel and your sandbag. Without your towel and your sandbag, you are not qualified to go inside the course. Because when you are carding, you have to soak part of the towel When you soak part of the towel, when your oga have played, your master you carry for have played, you collect the cloth and clean it with that wet part and use the dry part to clean the surface again. That is the usefulness of the towel. This is the most important part of being a caddy. With you being a caddy without a sandbag, you will not be allowed to caddy. With this sandbag, before you tee off, there used to be sand in every tee box. The sand you take and put inside your sandbag and hang it on the trolley. When your master played and there is a divot, there's what we call divot. When you pick divot with the clubs, you open your sandbag, you replace that divot. There will be a piece of grass that will pull out of the divot. You replace the grass, then you put some sand around it and with your leg you smoothen it. Without this sandbag, if your master removes sand divot and another member played a ball inside that divot, it will get that person pissed off because he will not be able to play that ball the way he wants.
I was competing with my friend, and one person needed to go to take honor, and we're almost scoring the same thing. So when he missed his spot, I told myself I wasn't going to miss mine, and luckily for me, and I sang the ball into the hole, so I was excited. A lot of transmutation comes with golf. For me, I look at golf as life. I use it to nurture my attitude, my imbibe patience and skills, decision taking and everything. It's not for lazy people, because by the time you play 18 holes, you must have gone like 7 kilometers. I don't think it's for lazy people. In fact, you exert a lot of energy playing golf. That's what I feel.
Structure does not matter, it's your flexibility, that's one. So if you are playing golf, you are flexible, you of course you play well, it's something that makes you exercise, you get exercise, and as long as you are playing it often and often, you get used to it. It don't matter if you are fat, if you are slim, if you are small, if you are big. Game of golf, anybody can play golf. It's fast growing here in Nigeria, and we are happy about that. We are meeting up to the golfing world standard, and women are coming. It's a plus. Usually before it used to be men everywhere, but now we have more women are coming, more girls are coming. So we are growing golf in a large level. Sometimes we used to have some clinic here. We have more girls among the children that are coming of 18, under 18 and all that. So it's a plus to our country. We are growing.
What is that irrational fear that has dogged your existence for so many years, right from when you were young? We're talking about phobias today, different fears we have. Some people fear the dark, some fear flying, some fear driving, some have a fear of wild animals. Conquer your fear so you can begin to enjoy life as you ought to. And that's the journey we're beginning for you today. Telling you about phobias, going in depth to tell you that research is being done even as we speak to ensure that you get treatment. Find the help that you need. do spend time with us on our social media handle. We want to continue the interaction and communication. It is Wellness and Living at Nigerian Television Authority. I'd love to spend loads of time with you, but I've got to go now. So we get ready for another interesting area that you can have fun with and learn from. My name is Thelma Obaze. It's been a pleasure spending time with you. Let's do it again. What do you say to that? Bye-bye.